Welcome to the WTR Small-Cap Spotlight podcast. I'm your host, Tim Gerdeman, Vice Chair and Co-founder and Chief Marketing Officer of Water Tower Research. In today's podcast episode, I'm being joined by Jan Eryk Umiastowski, Chief Financial Officer at GenSight Biologics. Also joining is my Water Tower Research Equity Research colleague, Robert Sassoon. GenSight Biologics is a clinical stage biopharma company based in Paris, primarily focused on developing and commercializing novel gene therapies for treating severe neurodegenerative retinal diseases. GenSight trades on the Euronext Paris exchange under ticker symbol SIGHT. I must add, that's a very clever ticker symbol for your business. Welcome to the podcast, Jan and Robert.
Good morning, Tim. Good morning, Robert.
Morning to you.
Jan, before I hand it over to Robert for several questions, let me start by asking you to tell our listeners about your professional background, as well as giving us a 30,000-foot overview of GenSight's business model.
Yeah, so I started my career 25 years ago, investing in biotech and internet stock in the late 90s. Then I joined a family office based in Geneva, and I invest mostly on luxury, so changing completely the sector. And then came back to the healthcare segment, to the French company providing software and databases to the medical space in Europe, but also in the US. And in September 2024, I joined GenSight for an exciting journey. They've been developing two products. We'll talk about this in a few minutes, I think. Very exciting product for eye disease. And mostly what we do, we try to restore the vision of blind people.
Great. Thank you for that overview, Jan. And with that, I'll turn it over to Robert to ask a few questions.
Okay, thanks, Tim, and welcome, Jan. And we're really looking forward to this podcast with you. Interesting company. So, can you talk about the company's clinical development pipeline, the indications that are being targeted, particularly, and provide us with the latest clinical and regulatory status with respect to your lead programs?
Yeah, so the GenSight pipeline leverage on gene therapy to address the high unmet medical needs in neurodegenerative disease. So we get two products. The first product, GS10, that is on the phase 3. We'll start the new phase 3 later in 2026. That is targeting for LHON. LHON is a rare disease that affects mostly men between 20 and 40 years, and in 1 year they become completely blind. And the beauty of this is not that we treat the symptom, we really restore some kind of vision. And the second product is JS30. It's a combination of gene therapy and optoelectronics. So it's a combination of glasses and gene therapy. This product is on phase 1-2 candidate, and it is for retinitis pigmentosa.
Okay, so could you explain or describe for us the current treatment landscape for those indications that you've just mentioned?
We focus on this disease because of the acute unmet need among patients created by the combination of severe irreversible visual impairment and the absence of effective and approved treatment. The hope is really to bring the promise of gene therapy to help these people to restore their vision. So it will not be exactly the vision as you and me can get, but anyway, it will be much better than being blind.
Okay, the gene therapy that has become one of the hottest areas of research in the clinical world over the last couple of decades. So there's a tremendous variety of technologies in gene therapy, both in how therapeutic genetic material works and how it's delivered to the body. So can you give us a 101 explanation of your two technology platforms, mitochondrial targeting sequence, MTS, and optogenetics, and what are their unique advantages of the competing technologies?
Yeah, so it's a little bit complex, and this is the gene therapy. So first, on mitochondrial targeting sequencing, MTS, we believe it's a novel and effective way of using gene therapy to address mutations that affect a specific structure in the cell. In this case, this is the mitochondria, which provide the energy to the cell. The challenge with mitochondria is that they have their own gene that are affected by disease-causing mutation. with MTS, we can use conventional gene therapy to insert the therapy gene into the cell nucleus, but then bring the working protein creating the nucleus to the mitochondria, where the defect causes the underlying problem. We are able to address the direct cause of the disease rather than merely treat the symptom. For the second optogenetics, it's another novel application of gene therapy. What this involves is the combination of gene therapy with advanced electronic camera with some goggles that will negate the impact of mutation. The disease like retinal pigmentosa is caused by many types of mutation, around 100. We do not treat each of them, but globally we'll treat this by, it's not affect just one type of cell in the eyes, it's multiple of them. And we use the gene therapy to activate the visual signal capability on some specific cells. And we use our advanced medical devices to take advantage of this activation and resume sending a signal to the brain. So we control the problem of degenerated photoreceptor by using other set of cells in the eye that we activate, and through a signal sent by the glasses, the people can again have a kind of vision.
With all that, can you highlight the upcoming milestones for your two clinical programs?
The big milestone right now is for GS10, so for the LHON disease. We are planning the phase 3 trial that will allow us to obtain the marketing authorization in the US and in Europe in 2030. So in 2026, we'll focus on finalizing the final design of the study with the multiple regulatory agency in the geography. And we're also looking for some early access program, particularly in France. In the meantime, we're also exploring different partnerships to continue the medical development of the optogenetic treatment GS30, that we're looking more for a partner to move to the next stage of a clinical trial.
Right. Okay. So, but the one thing that's interesting is that the primary indications GenSight is actually targeting, like LAHON and RP, are rare conditions. They affect relatively small populations. So, what is the company's growth strategy?
Yeah, so the growth strategy is really to turn this success and the promise of gene therapy to a commercial product available for patients worldwide. This will serve as a proof of concept that gene therapy based on MTS is financially viable, with creating an enormous clinical value for patient, physician, and healthcare system. This could unlock potential application to other optic neuropathy or mitochondrial condition. Similarly, for GS30, the second product, to the next stage of the development will be a proof of concept of the therapeutic promise of optogenetics, so combining gene therapy with some goggles. And to develop this maybe to other disease, adjacent disease like AMD, and in worldwide.
Right, and AMD is quite a common, unfortunately, a common condition, so that's a particularly large market. Final question from me: can you speak about your balance sheet, cash burn situation, and your financial strategy to advance these programs and commercialization plans?
Yeah, so it's a very important part of the strategy of the company, because we need finance to develop the product and to push them later to come them on commercial part. So on the cash burn, it's not actually so much meaningful concept to describe the current situation of the company, because we're on the final stage of some major investment, mostly on the tech transfer. We moved to a new manufacturer that is based in the US with a new and proven manufacturer partner. We're also securing actually some paid early access program worldwide. So the cash burn will get more sense in 2026, will be more in a normal stage of the company, prepare for the phase 3 trial, and manufacturing our product GS10 for the early access and the clinical trial. On the financial strategy is to supply the fund that is needed by the activity. So we're in discussion with existing investors who have already demonstrated their confidence in recent fundraising rounds, but more importantly, with new investors that want to introduce to the commercial potential of GS10. On commercialization, it's really to work with top electron clinician, electron center of excellence, get the regulatory approval to move quickly for reimbursement and commercial availability, and to focus on US, Europe, and other geography after that.
Well, thank you, Jan, for helping us to get to know GenSight a little better. So I'll just hand it back to Tim.
Well, thanks, Jan and Robert, for joining today, and thank you, Jan, in particular, for actually highlighting the very, very important work you're doing at GenSight Biologics. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Thank you for listening, and don't forget to subscribe, as well as visiting www.watertowerresearch.com to stay up to speed on the company's small cap written research reports, podcasts, fireside chats, industry-specific symposiums, and conference schedules. We will see you next time for another edition of the WTR Small-Cap Spotlight podcast. Finally, a special thanks to the producer and editor of the podcast, Krista Fitzpatrick.